All right, so we've had two other gentlemen joining us now on the same subject matter. Abdulaziz Sulaiman is a spokesperson, Coalition of Northern Groups. Abdulaziz, thank you for joining us this morning on the program.
You're welcome.
Okay, we also do have Abdurrahman Agwala, who is the Director, Strategy and Planning, Citizens Action for Good Governance. Thank you as well for joining us. Let me start with you, Abdulaziz Sulaiman. Having seen some response from northern leaders and young people as well about this protest, what kind of messaging are you getting about it?
Actually, the protests, as far as we are concerned, are getting out of hand somehow. But we want to look at the End SARS hashtag as just symbolic. That's speaking about security in a broader sense, the insecurity that is ravaging most parts of, some parts of Nigeria, especially northern Nigeria. So what we want to believe is that when people say End SARS, it's just symbolic, as asking for improved security. And having ended SARS as it is, if they were only talking about SARS, protesting about SARS, I think they could have dispersed. That means there are other things below the SARS hashtag, which I believe are good to pursue. For instance, the issue of reopening our universities,
Go ahead, we can hear you.
The issue of reopening our universities, the issue of insecurity, I think they can all come under that hashtag. But in practical terms, I don't think it's about ending SARS alone. Because ending SARS to us does not make any difference. Because if you end SARS as the name of a unit, create another unit called SWAT, with the same personnel coming in with the same attitude, I don't think anything but the name has changed.
I thought that your coalition is saying that, yes, the youths were right to have gone on this protest, and as a matter of fact, you're also seeking to escalate this and ensure that the governors sit up and address several other insecurity challenges up north.
Well, that's what we are saying. We said now that SARS has been scrapped, so there's no need again to be talking about SARS, but to talk of the broader problem, that is insecurity. So that was why we said they are right to have started the protests. In fact, they did not start it. We were the first to have protested over insecurity. But when they came up with this End SARS issue, what really motivated us was that we now came to realize that government can be responsive under pressure. So we felt that we have an obligation to cash into the current momentum, the current tempo, and push for improved security in northern Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Agbola, well, with your group, clearly you don't think that this is one of the ways to go, but the government did think that, yes, the youths, they have a point, and anyone who suffered police brutality, and then families have equally lost their loved ones, and so they moved on to ensure that, okay, well, SARS becomes history. The governors have been mandated to set up facilities and ensure that these issues are addressed. So give us your perspective about the response and then the demands that have not been met so far.
Well, fundamentally, we should understand the fact that we have our rights as citizens of this country. And the governments equally have right to make decisions on issues in as much as it doesn't violate the rights of others. As far as we are concerned, we look at the issues beyond the euphoria of the moment. If we all agree that we have high rates of criminalities in Nigeria, and hashtag End SARS implies that some people have bad eggs in the police force who are under the unit called SARS have actually been brutalizing the members of the public and have actually been doing a lot of damages to the system. That shows that criminality has become endemic in Nigeria. And who are the major people to be blamed for the insecurity? Most time we push it to the government. Is it the government that tells people to go and commit crime? Is it the government that tells people to go and be outlaws? We should understand issues fundamentally that end SARS protests should be viewed beyond the issue of the police. It should be taken holistically as an issue that has to deal with the mindset of the people in respecting laws and orders. For us, the protesters have made their agitations known wide and loud enough. It is audible and it is heard by everybody.
Yeah,
but
Mr.
the government
Bola,
has already said
when you
these
say
are the
that,
fundamental actions to be taken
just a moment,
immediately.
Mr. Bola, let me put this in. When you say that, is it the government that asked people to go do certain things, are you in any way suggesting that the government is wrong to have said, well, we actually are in charge of these things and we take responsibility?
It is the responsibility of government to resolve issues. It is the responsibility of government to lead the people rightly. It is the responsibility of government to make things work out for the system.
So what was your point when you were saying
that? The angle of people making it to look like the people versus the government, it doesn't work that way. We have to look at it from the Nigerian perspective. We are all Nigerians and lovers of this country. We want this country to move forward. We don't want indiscipline to take charge in this country.
Yeah, okay, so when these killings and this police brutality had been happening over the years, what did you do about it? Or your group?
Well, we have been campaigning against criminalities, whether by people in government or by the citizens themselves. But we are at a point where we must understand that moving forward, what we need collectively to agree upon is that people should respect laws and orders in Nigeria. The right of the people to protest is guaranteed, and we support the right of people to protest. But when issues become so deep that we don't want to equally accept responsibilities for our liabilities, we should equally understand that.
Okay,
that
Mr. Agbola, just one moment.
All of us desire.
Yeah. Just one moment.
We must all understand.
Just one moment. Just one moment. Okay. Let's decrypt the issues. When we talk about government, sometimes the idea of government is faceless. So let's decrypt it. Let's take it down to the brass tacks. Have you, or are you aware of anyone who has ever been directly brutalized by an officer of the SARS that people are protesting about? Has it happened to you before?
Even personally, I've been a victim of harassment of SARS operatives on the highway.
How severe was it? Just one moment, 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 Mr. Agbola. Just one moment. Let's paint the picture so that people can understand what you're saying. Have you been kicked in the head? Has a gun been drawn on you? As some people have said that this has happened to them.
Well, funny enough, I wouldn't give any security officer the chance to brutalize me.
Okay,
but there are
just one moment. Just one moment.
Understand the fundamentals and the
just one moment. Just one moment. But there are people who do not understand these fundamentals, who have been brutalized, whose minds, whose conscience have been scarred as a result of the activities of men of SARS. Do you think that their agitation, a good number of them, there's a report that says 1 out of every 5 Nigerian youth has been brutalized by these SARS officers? Are you saying that their actions is not valid?
While their actions are valid to protest and demand for end to brutality, whether by police officers or any other security agencies, we should equally understand that that statement you made right now, as far as I'm concerned, is fallacious. To say 1 out of 5 Nigerian youth has been brutalized by the SARS. Let's begin to keep our records clean. I'm a statistician by discipline. I understand what is called statistics.
Okay, if you say, just one moment, Mr. Agbola, just one moment, Mr. Agbola, just one moment, just one moment. If you say that my figures are fallacious, what's yours?
We know very well that there are cases of brutality, but not to the deep level of taking 1 out of 5 Nigerian youths. That's
you still haven't answered my question, Mr. Agbola. Just one moment. Yes, but do you have a contrary report to validate that this that I have given you is not correct?
We have cases in the northern Nigeria here. I live in Abuja and Nasarawa State more. The case here is different from the pictures that is being painted down south. We should understand these things. If you say in a particular place, the brutality of SARS is so deep and endemic, is understandable. But to generalize it, it is not too right for all of us to understand. This generalization act is what I'm speaking against.
Okay.
We can't generalize issues because we want to make issues out of it.
So are you then saying, Mr. Agbola,
not good for the system?
Okay, just one moment. Are you then saying that the federal government has equally generalized by taking the decisions and the actions that have been taken?
Okay, if the federal government, in terms of the pronouncement to end SARS, has equally generalized, which is the reason why you see the northern governors coming out to say they are not in support of the generalization of end SARS. The governor of Borno State requested that the officers of the defunct SARS should be sent to Borno State for them to come and help them to combat insecurity in Borno. You just showed the governor of a Plateau State now, where he mentioned the position of the governors of the North, We need to understand these things and weigh the balance.
Mr. Agbola, don't. Now you are making a generous, fallacious statement. What the governor said, which we all heard, is that some governors, it actually worked for them. He didn't say that is the position of northern governors. That is not what he said. Is that what you heard?
If that has changed based on what you said now, I don't know.
No, it did not change. It did not change. It is a recording which was played again this morning. So it depends on, maybe you heard what you wanted to hear.
Well, I do not subscribe to what you have said anyway, because what I heard clearly was that he said they need SARS to be in the north.
No, that's not what he said. We could play it back for you again. He said for some governors, it has worked. So if there are places that it hasn't worked, let's take a look at it. He didn't say that is the position of all northern governors. So again, you heard what you wanted to hear. That's the way it is. Well, let's get to...
okay, the way it goes is I understand the perspective and issues. Now, I won't argue on that, because you have the record clear.
Yes, it's right for everybody to see.
Is we need to come to a middle point and understand the issues clearly and have solutions to it immediately.
In other words, you're saying the president...
issues of protest in Nigeria.
You're saying that the president made a mistake?
Must be resolved amicably for all of us to have peace and tranquility. Let us
so, Mr. Agbola, with all the information that the president had, and then the IGP coming to that decision, you're saying that they relied or they were misled and they made a mistake? Is that your point?
No. The action of the IGP is in right order to have actually ended SARS based on popular demand. What I said is we should not generalize issues. We should be able to separate what is the truth and what is not the truth. We shouldn't take issues because it's a popular demand and we have the situations already at hand. Then we begin to say the old truth is this, where we have other issues. We have people that have equally attested to the good work done by the officers of the SARS. We have agreed that many of the officers took it beyond normality. And all of us said, okay, if in as much as the announcement has been made that the SARS has already ended, let us move forward. Let us stop police brutality. Let us educate the members of the officers of the police force not to brutalize anyone. Let us make sure the people equally comply with law, and let us move forward. All the agitations that have been made, they are very good for the system. We understand that.
But the thing is,
we can't equally allow violence to become endemic in this situation.
So let them arrest anyone who is being violent. But if people are out there peacefully, even the government has said it, they have a right to peaceful protest. So you can't say anything different from what the laws require. That is a law. It is a position of the law.
I've equally led protest as well, and I will still lead protest in future.
Well, unfortunately, that's not the issue.
Today. The issue is
that is not the issue.
We should not let these things get out of hand. It shouldn't go beyond normal.
Mr. Agbola, Mr. Abdurrahman Agbola is a Director, Strategy and Planning, Citizens Actions for Good Governance. We've also had Abdulaziz Sulaiman, the spokesman, Coalition of Northern Groups. Gentlemen, thank you for your thoughts this morning. We're back in a moment. Join us again.
I can hear you clearly.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning. Well, of course, that question already went out. The people that went to try to disrupt the process yesterday in Lagos at Alausa precisely, and they went in a big blue bus that many people could only identify with Lagos State as a government. And of course, government says it's not us. So, what happened?
Let me tell you first that clearly that Mr. Baide Sanwo-Olu, the governor, will never tolerate thuggery, because this is the center of excellence. We are not known for that. And coming back to yesterday's incident, if you watch that video clearly, you will see that there were passengers on the bus and that these miscreants were coming and they felt they were going to be attacked, and some of them tried to escape from the bus. One tried to escape through the window, and luckily the miscreants came and they didn't attack them, they moved on. So the passengers returned to the bus, and then the bus went on its normal operation. The driver of the bus spoke on television yesterday and explained what happened, and said that the incident was less than 5 minutes, and that after a few minutes all was well. So I do not know why some people are insinuating that the government did it. The government will never go the thuggery way.
Well, perhaps the issue that a number of people have seen over time is that whenever such a process is going on, government feels embarrassed and consequently wants to make themselves look good, you know. So you don't blame those who are saying that. Now, what kind of support is government, if at all, giving to these protesters to make sure that their point is not just received, but is actioned by government at various levels?
Well, Mr. Baide Sanwo-Olu, the governor, announced yesterday that the policemen who are involved in the Surulere incident were undergoing orderly room trial, and that the government is monitoring closely the trial to ensure that justice is done, and that those people who were brutalized in Surulere, that they get justice. So, and all the other points that they have made, the governor has done everything, such as the detention of people. All of the people who have been detained have been released. And the governor said so last night that should you have anybody who is in detention who has not been released, let us have the name of such a person, and we will ensure that the person is released immediately. So all of the things that they are asking for, the government has done. And the government is now saying that two wrongs don't make a right. And our young men, you have made your point, your voice has been heard clearly and loudly and globally, and that we should go back to embrace peace and allow the government to take the matter from here, so that all of the things you're asking for will be done and more.
Well, Mr. Omotosho, you would agree that a number of times promises have been made that people waited endlessly for its fulfillment. But we have to thank you very much and hope that all of this will be sorted in good enough time. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, one more time, just to get some of the pictures coming through from Abuja. These are live images of what is going on in the Federal Capital Territory at the moment. So there you see, that's the Aguiyi Seaway. Earlier they were gathering, but now this is what is happening as we speak. So yes, we do remember that the FCT did make some announcements concerning gatherings, and they call them, I think it said Security Committee of the FCT. But the police yesterday did say, well, ensure protesters are protected.
Perhaps that means that the security committee is different from the police.
Who's going to enforce? Who will arrest? What law will the security outfit or committee in Abuja rely on to do these things?
Well,
I guess time will tell. We'll keep our tabs on that one. You see much later on News Track, as it were. And don't forget that picture about one of the civil defense officers and a young protester giving him water to drink was a fantastic imagery that went on over the week. And so we do hope that that kind of scenario and camaraderie will continue on these streets. So that is the show today. We do thank you all for watching. Remember, just ensure that you stay safe out there. We'll see you next week. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a good day.